Good evening. Good evening. Perhaps it is good morning. Perhaps good afternoon, depending upon where you are on the globe. Tonight's short broadcast, unless there is active engagement, will be Hollywood and the Church, the story, bombshell story, if you will, of actor Christian Keys, Mase, and T.D. Jakes. Now, the internet is buzzing with a bombshell from the actor Christian Keys, who alleges, and to be prudent and responsible, I too must say alleges, that a billionaire possibly approached him with S.A. harassment. I'll just say intimate harassment. Now, many of you may remember Christian Keys from his breakout role as Sonny in Tyler Perry's stage play several years ago entitled Madea Goes to Jail. He, along with others, appeared in that stage play, and from there, he's been in movies and television drama. But recently, Christian Keys has come forward to discuss allegations that he was approached in ways that more often are received by women. Now, that is a dangerous stereotype because men too, and we hear this often, are approached. And this is unsettling. Also, and we'll go over some videos shortly, Christian Keys has stated that he had several devices and recordings of propositions, if you will. So, before I proceed, I will provide the Fair Use Act disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976, which states, allowance is made for fair use of copyrighted material for purposes of commentary, criticism, news reporting, research, education, teaching, and/or scholarship. It provides for the legal, non-licensed citation and/or incorporation of copyrighted material by others, which might be infringing under other circumstances, and definitely my viewer discretion disclaimer. The following broadcast contains mature themes and situations intended for adults. Viewer discretion is advised. So welcome those that come in, and it is my hope that you will be interactive with this broadcast either by the link that is provided or leaving comments in the comment section. So as I mentioned at the top of the broadcast, men definitely can be victims too. Now, according to SA, which is assault, there's stereotypes that tie masculinity to sex and can make it difficult to separate the act from the crime. Again, it may make it difficult to to separate the act from the crime of SA. It is equally devastating to men and women, and when you factor in the profession of many of these men, which are in both the entertainment and athletic industry, it could be embarrassing, and many will already scrutinize and ask, well, why did you take so long to say anything? Christian Keys, long ago, when he was on the stage play, Medea Goes to Jail, this, my goodness, it may have been 10, maybe over 15 years, people questioned his sexuality. So this is not anything new to him. However, what is devastating and shocking to many, and as I said, the internet is buzzing with this story, so I'm not going to do a deep dive. It's just a brief commentary, and then I'll go on to Mase and TD Jakes. But as I was mentioning, he isn't new to this, but this latest bombshell, as far as being approached by a billionaire with advances, and the mere fact that he found it necessary to have devices to record such conversations speaks volumes. So let me get these two comments. Hi, Maisha. And Melly says, people are embarrassed and prideful. Again, the link is there. So members, please take advantage of that. Or if you feel more comfortable in the comment section, that is fine as well. And VR Rocks, welcome. We're speaking about Hollywood, the church, Christian Keys, Mase, and TD Jakes. So thank you to everyone that's tuned in and to those that may catch the replay. So I'm going to star this right here. And it's from Melly, who stated, people are embarrassed and prideful. So I'll continue. And speak briefly on the Me Too movement. And is it for men? Him Too, HIMTEO, hashtag Him Too became the antithesis for males, and it is used to defend men against false rape accusations. Now, how many of you know or have heard about Christian Keys, or has watched him, any of his stage plays and television drama series? You can answer that later. But in the interim, I'm going to play a brief video. And Melly says, really, that's a thing now. I'm not sure if that's a question or if it's a comment. But because of so much and so many people coming out, it may not be just a thing. It may be more of people coming out and speaking on what they have experienced Oh, Melly says, I haven't. Okay. Now, many of us may remember Terry Crews some time ago, who came out to speak on his experience. He was shunned and ostracized because if anyone knows Terry Crews and takes a look at his physique, they would feel different. But again, these situations appear to be commonplace in the entertainment industry. Many people have spoken about some of the alleged cults and rituals that take place. And here recently, more and more people are coming forth with more stories. Okay, thank you, Melly, for clarifying that. It's a comment. And the comment was, really, that is a thing now. And absolutely, Melly says, unbelievable how Terry was violated. Absolutely. So it goes to show it doesn't really matter your physique. You too can be violated for many reasons. And in my opinion, and it's just an opinion, I think control is the factor. Control by the said perpetrator. It seems to me, and again, these are just opinions, that those that can gain control over their prey meaning PRE, it may release endorphins. I'm not in the minds of these people. However, it is definitely an issue. So I am going to share the screen. Again, fair use. And please let me know if you're able to see it. If not, I'll go back out and come back in. And Melly says quickly, I believe Terry didn't want to lose his career. That's why he didn't react. And that may actually be a reason for many to remain quiet. So again, this is fair use. Hopefully you can see it. If not, as I said, I will cancel it and go back in. And thank you, Melly. This is courtesy of Layla Lynn. And this is the actor Christian Keys speaking about the allegations of being approached by a powerful billionaire. Again, fair use, courtesy of Layla Lynn on YouTube. And again, Melly says, I believe Terry didn't want to lose his career. That's why he didn't react. And as I mentioned, that may very well be the case of many. This should be better. And I will expand. Again, this is Layla Lynn and Christian Keys.
I've been speaking to my brother about making a declaration of my experience. What I experienced with certain powers that be that were moving inappropriately. And I really, like, it's in my bone marrow to discuss that, because thankfully God built me the way that he built me, but I'm not sure, based on this person's claims and brags, that he's literally got, at the same time this person was sexually harassing me for years. He was claiming, that he had multiple young black men on the payroll, and they just had to show up when he requested them to be there. And clearly that's why it felt to him that it was okay to say these things. And I want to have these discussions. I want to be transparent with y'all about that. I've done my best to forgive this person, but it happens. It happens. It's not just women that have to deal with it, but it's also men sometimes.
So, as you heard, actor Christian Keys just mentioned, it doesn't always just happen to women, but to men as well. And he spoke about this person basically, as I mentioned, being in power and feeling as though it was okay. You also heard actor Christian Keys says that he's tried hard to forgive the person, but from my optics, you can see, perhaps feel the sincerity coming from Keys as he speaks about this experience and how it's affected him. We'll continue on with this video. Again, fair use. And thank you to those that have come in and those who may catch the replay. The link is there if you have any comments or thoughts on this story and Mase and TD Jakes once I complete going through these short videos. Again, this is courtesy of Miss Layla, and it should present shortly. Please let me know if you cannot hear nor see the video and or audio. It should queue up momentarily. And you are also welcome to leave any comments you may have in the comment section. So I'm going to speed it up a bit to hear. So that was more on Christian Keys, and you could hear the passion in his voice as he describes one incident with this allegedly powerful billionaire. Let me grab these comments. Melly says, with Diddy's current situation, on top of this, I believe misconduct is occurring everywhere. And Melly follows up with, it seems like you aren't safe anywhere. Absolutely. And to piggyback off of that, Melly, and thank you for your comments. That goes to show you, ladies and gentlemen, while it is nice to feel or know that you're comfortable financially, look at some of the problems that can come with fame. We've heard many stories we have not heard, many stories we may never hear. So that is all I'm going to speak on as far as actor Christian Keys, because there is a wealth of stories and blogs going on the internet now. I just wanted to chime in briefly on that and reiterate that he recently dropped a bombshell that a billionaire allegedly approached him inappropriately and that he has recordings that he may very well indeed release, which opens another can of worms. We are speaking about recordings, and I do not know if it is a one party, because if it is, I'm not 100% sure, it may not be admissible, but it can be released. I'm not sure of the particulars. I'll have to look into that. So next, we have, as you could see in the thumbnail, Mase. You know, Mase has also dropped a bombshell, and it relates to Bishop T.D. Jakes. Now, how many of you remember Mase? Mase was also a member of Bad Boy Records years ago. And according to stories, Mase and Diddy, over the years, came to verbal fisticuffs with allegations hurled left and right. Mase, if you will, found God and decided to get out of the rap industry, if you will. I believe he may have gone back in, but not the same. Next video I'm going to present is Pastor Jennings. Again, fair use. Melly says, I still watch Mase and Cameron on their sports show. I'm going to have to check that out. I didn't know Mase did a sports show. I wonder if I can get on that. I think I'll put that in my bucket list to get on a sports show. Okay, this is Pastor Jennings, as I mentioned earlier, Gino Jennings, who calls out Bishop T.D. Jakes for partying with Diddy. Again, this is fair use and quite interesting, in my opinion. Those of you that listen to Pastor Jennings will know that he is extremely passionate. So, this is courtesy of Martina Karpeh. And it is, again, Pastor Gino Jennings, who calls out T.D. Jakes for partying with Diddy. And hopefully that'll come up momentarily. to listen to secular music? Is it wrong, in your opinion, for women and men of the cloth to participate in behaviors that they may be preaching about on Sundays behind the pulpit? And that short video clip, it was air apparent that Bishop T.D. Jakes was familiar with that music and welcomed his dance partners. Again, I'm human and I am not judging. I'm simply asking questions. And as it relates to the allegations made by Mase that purports that there may have been some sort of relationship. And relationships could be business, partnerships, or others. So let me be clear on that. With Diddy. Next, I'm going to do a quick video that features singer and performer Chris Brown. Again, this is also fair use. And this will be extremely brief. Yes, Melly, Chris Brown. Again, it'll be brief because some of the language goes over R. And again, I implore you all to do your own independent research and cross-referencing. Courtesy of YouTube and you'll hear just a few seconds of this, but it says a lot.
Chris Brown has made some shocking revelations about the music industry and just what Diddy has been up to over the last couple of decades. We know that the man has a very questionable reputation, but this is crazy even by his standards because Chris has said Diddy in the music industry has been straight forcing artists to become gay.
Hi there, Drea. How are you? Haven't seen you, but you are welcome. The link is there if you have anything you'd like to say. You're welcome. But that was Chris Brown who stated, and you heard him The allegations that Diddy may be trying to make others same sex. Next, and the last video was that of Chris Brown. So anyone's thoughts and opinions that you may have on Christian Keys, the allegations, you are welcome. And Melly says, I really don't feel sympathy for Chris Brown. Is that because of the Rihanna situation? You made a comment earlier. Yeah, Justice, you are. I'm not really sure what that meant. But moving on, Melly stated, I really don't feel any sympathy for Chris Brown. And my question was, is it because of the situation that occurred with him and Rihanna? Or perhaps some of the lyrics to some of his songs? And I'll wait to see if Melly responds. And your thoughts on, number one, if you believe Christian Keys will, within the next couple of weeks, release those recordings. And two, there are many people already speculating on who the billionaire may be. Would that be a major paradigm shift in Hollywood? And Melly states that with Rihanna and the image he portrays. Oh, I'm not sure why she would do that. Odd. Well, that should not be an issue anymore. But yes, back to what Melly was saying. That was Rihanna and the image he portrays. And the next question was, do you think within the next week or so, Christian Keys will indeed release recordings of the said billionaire and what that could mean moving forward? What that could mean, number one, for the career, the mental anguish on Christian Keys, because from what I understand, this has been going on for years. So to carry that for a particular period of time obviously can cause, I would believe, emotional distress. And the factor of who you can trust. Can you trust? Because you have to keep in mind, or should keep in mind, when you have contracts and investments, thousands and thousands of dollars, and your reputation at stake, that's a lot to absorb and a lot to unpack. Not to mention the possibility of being blackballed. And we have heard many, many, many times of celebrities being blackballed for speaking up. We've seen some of the residual effects of celebrities under duress. Next, to church. Has the church, in your opinion, and I'm speaking about the mega church, has it become toxic? Have the people on Sundays, perhaps Saturdays, or during the week that you go to for peace, for guidance, perhaps forgiveness, become toxic and more of a detriment than of help to you? Are they feeding in to what we see that's going on as far as the elites, the boule, and what many have coined the powers that be? Melly says, Chris Brown is a millionaire, but he's claiming a gang that makes no sense. I did not know that. I had stopped following him for a while after, as you mentioned, some of the behavior changes. I enjoyed his early music, and I believe he is a phenomenal performer. But yes, some of his antics have swayed me quite a bit. And Diddy. Is this speculation, allegations as it relates to Mase alleging a possible relationship that occurred between Diddy and T.D. Jakes. Will more people come forward? And for those that do come forward, will they too be offered settlements? Or could we see something more strange to occur? Should we factor in safety concerns? Because keep in mind, when you're dealing with powerful people, money and the power of money can do many things, to include things and or people going away. Hey there, Joseph Smith. How are you? We're talking about Hollywood, church, Christian Keys, Mase, and T.D. Jakes. And your thoughts on the bombshell in reference to actor Christian Keys, who alleges a powerful billionaire approached him inappropriately. Also, went over a video with Pastor Gino Jennings, who called out Bishop T.D. Jakes for partying with Diddy. And then finally, Mase, who was once, as most of us remember, a member of Bad Boy, who alleges, and again, I implore you to do your own independent research, that there may have been a relationship with Diddy and Bishop T.D. Jakes. The ramifications all of this could lead to for all of these individuals, and basically the state of Hollywood and the church. Joseph Smith says, that's funny because my lady was telling me about this earlier. So, if you don't mind sharing, Joseph Smith, and thank you for coming in, what is it that you and your lady were speaking about? Because this, to me, I am not going to say I'm surprised. I'm more concerned because this man, and I'm speaking about Christian Keys right now, felt compelled to have devices on his person to record these alleged propositions. And keep in mind, as I mentioned earlier, he's carried this around allegedly for years, and you could see the passion and hear the disdain in his voice. Melly says, Me Too is bringing everyone's dirty laundry out. Hey there, Joy. Welcome back, member, and thank you so much. How are you tonight? And Joy, everyone, is coming in from the Philippines. So it's probably good morning to you. So good morning, Joy. And thank you. And yes, I'll star this Melly, who says, Me Too is bringing everyone's dirty laundry out. Now, is it Me Too or people just getting fed up? Or what some people may not have thought of at this moment, is this an uprising of spiritual warfare? And I'm just looking at it at another angle. And you can put your thoughts, comments, as it relates to if you think this could be an uprising of spiritual warfare, because there has definitely been, from my optics, an influx or uptick of people coming forward. And for the gentleman in the chat, how you feel if you were to put yourself in the shoes of Christian Keys. You have offers. Your livelihood of being an actor is on the line, possibly. Would you remain quiet and let this eat at you? Or would you remain true to yourself and speak up about it, not only to free yourself from the damage that it has caused and will probably continue to cause, and perhaps help someone else that may be experiencing the same thing? And Melly says, I believe they needed the courage to come forth. And then Melly follows up with, I'm very vocal and confrontational. Okay, Melly, I understand the vocal portion of your comment, but confrontational and or belligerent, or just confrontational? And what would you say would make you the latter or become confrontational? And keep in mind, those that are in Hollywood, and we've seen many, especially after 2020, fall off and not get the work of the quote-unquote A-listers. Some haven't worked since. Some have become quote-unquote regular people. And once you're established, is it really that easy to give up? Is it easier just to turn a blind eye? Or, as you mentioned earlier, muster up the courage to speak out and risk the naysayers and those in the population of saying the most vile, egregious comments that may question your credibility and quite possibly result in a lifestyle modification. I'm not going to say change, but a modification. We've heard stories of those in Hollywood. Melly, you just took the words out of my mouth. I wasn't even looking at the chat, where people have absolutely been blackballed. And Melly says, if someone touches me, they can get touched back. And he has a boxing glove up. And Melly, and I've said this before as well, says, I believe Monique was blackballed. Absolutely. And Melly also says, Terry Crews didn't want to downgrade his lifestyle. That's why he remained humble. Now, I'm not going to give you pushback on this, but I am going to ask a question. Is your integrity, not yours, but in reference to the comment, in reference to Terry Crews, is that shallow? In other words, because you've become accustomed to a lifestyle of wanting for nothing, yet being violated when you know it's against what you believe, does that make you a part of the problem? Does it fall into a category of accepting? Because if that's the case, in my opinion, that solves nothing. It actually, to me, adds to the issues to those that are up and coming. Young people and others who may not be as strong, in my opinion, emulate what they see. So if they see a strong, strapping man that will accept certain behaviors, then they too may think it's okay because my reward is financial gain and incentives. Melly says, I saw Terry before the fame, and he wasn't a gentle giant. Oh, I did not know that. And then Melly says, I think Jaguar White is a good example. She has been all over the place. She was disregarded regarding her claims until so many others came forth. That's interesting because I've seen this woman get dragged so many times, and people question her mental, if you will. And I don't know this woman, so I'm not going to speak ill on her, but I do know that it appears that much, or quite a bit of what she says, seems to be as you mentioned, collaborated by others who are coming forward. And I don't believe it's a witch hunt on Diddy. I think this is just a situation of what you put out in the universe eventually returns. And keep in mind, what you put out, you may not get back right away. It may take years. But when the bow breaks, things begin to fall. And when they begin to fall, it is my opinion, they fall quickly. Melly says, one person can spark the fire, but their strength is in numbers. So, with that in mind, strength being in numbers, do you think, it's just gauging one's opinions, do you think it will be somebody in Diddy's immediate camp that will be the proverbial straw to break the camel's back? Or could it be someone that no one has heard about, or someone that has been quiet? Because keep in mind, he has had many, many persons of talent in all of these years. Melly says, Diddy has no support. I'm not sure about that. When you say no support, you mean no confidants, no people in the background? And then Melly says, he's riding this wave all by himself. And then Joseph Smith says, probably someone in Diddy's camp. Interesting. Former or current people in Diddy's camp. Because remember, some of you may not remember, but making of the band and his time, for those of you from the DMV, when he was at Howard. Remember, he moved up and rubbed elbows with some of the bigwigs. So I can't imagine, and I will never believe, that there isn't someone that knows a lot more than what's been disclosed thus far. There are rumors, and rest in heaven, Kim Porter, I believe her birthday was yesterday. It was alleged that she may have had memoirs or beginning to write a book. I don't know how true that is. Again, I implore you to do your own research on that. But she mysteriously, in my opinion, passed away after a brief, well, reportedly brief illness. She also, and this is noteworthy, had children with I'll be sure. I'll be sure. And I did a story on that a month or so ago. Had a health scare where he was in a coma. And battling serious health issues that almost took him away as well. He's recovering, but he had to have a transplant and was walking with a cane. No, I'm not saying that has anything to do with any one person. When you look at all of the moving parts, anything is possible. And Melly says, I haven't seen anyone stand up in his behalf. Could it be because the feds are watching and piecing together what could be a bombshell trial? Melly then says he doesn't have any successful acts that he put together. He's the only one rich. And I think, and if I'm incorrect, please correct me, I believe that was one of the arguments he had with Mase. And thank you for those that have come in. The link is there. If you have anything you would like to add to this conversation in reference to Hollywood, the church, Christian Keys, and I misspelled his name, so I'll have to change that, and Bishop T.D. Jakes. The videos that I showed earlier at the beginning of the broadcast will be available on the replay and courtesy of content creators on YouTube for fair use purposes. But again, those just coming in, Christian Keys, actor who I first saw in his role as Sonny in Medea's stage play, Medea Goes to Jail, and also made for TV television shows on TV1, BET, if I'm not mistaken. I don't watch TV anymore other than the football games and other drama series. And then we have Mase, who made allegations of Diddy and Bishop T.D. Jakes partying. Welcome everyone from Team Joy. Hi there, member Jings and member Greggy. How are you? Thank you, Team Joy. And welcome, member Jazzy. Good to see you again. You almost won. Maybe next time. Make sure I recognize all of you. Thank you. Hey there, Jay, Pet Channel, Jave, Sakan, Chio. Hey there, Boss D. Good morning. How are you? Island Girl, how are you? Ice Vlogs, how are you? Shansia TV, how are you? Wild Snake, how are you? You had a video up, Wild Snake. One of those, I have never ever seen anything like that before, and I'm petrified of snakes. But that was quite different. That was a different species. Ashley, welcome, and Brian, welcome. Thank you all. Kier, how are you? Welcome, and thank you. Team Joy. Tricia, thank you. Thank you all for Team Joy that's come in. Please make sure you hit that thumbs up. And again, your thoughts on what may come with Christian Keys. Will he release these recordings that he has stated that he's kept of the inappropriate behavior? Number 2, the allegations made by Mase, former member of Bad Boy. If there's any credence to an inappropriate relationship with Diddy and T.D. Jakes. And your thoughts on Pastor Gino Jennings, also weighed heavily on Bishop T.D. Jakes for partying with Diddy. My question was, is it wrong for men and women of the cloth to listen to secular music? And participate in worldly things, as on Sundays many preach outside of prosperity preaching to be not in the world, but of the world. Thank you, Melvin. Thank you so much, and welcome. Hey there, Big Dog Billy. How are you? We're speaking about Hollywood, the church, the Christian Keys, Bombshell, Mase, and T.D. Jakes. And I know how you feel about the church. Big Dog, link is there if you have anything you want to say quickly before I shut this down. But Pastor Gino Jennings went on T.D. Jakes in reference to his partying with Diddy. And my question, or one of my questions was, is the church actually becoming more of a detriment to those that go to seek solace, peace, and quote unquote the truth? Yet they see their bishops, those at the helm of these mega churches, dancing some a little intimate with younger partners. Showing their connections to those in Hollywood. My thoughts. I do believe in time that Christian Keys will release those recordings. I'm not sure if he has a management team or attorney that will guide him or lead him in the proper steps. But it's going to be difficult because, as I mentioned at the top of this broadcast, men who do get SA'd, intimately assaulted, are looked at differently, perhaps weak, or they may be considered a part of that lifestyle. Others, and we know how cruel people can be, may question the sincerity or truthfulness because apparently, allegedly, years have gone by. I just feel, and I'm not a man, that when you're in the court of public opinion and you're looked upon or told when you're little boys, don't cry. Boys don't cry, which I never believed in. But again, I'm not a man. But I think, in my opinion, that is why many men who are violated don't speak up, because of the stigma that possibly falls behind it. And Melly asks, so, don't you find it funny about Diddy lawsuit settling so quickly? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Hey there, McCrae. How are you? Happy Saturday. We're talking about Hollywood, the church, the Christian Keys Bombshell that came out, if you haven't heard already, and I'm sure you have, that a billionaire in Hollywood approached him inappropriately. And I will drop this one last time. But you're welcome to put your comments in the comment section as well. If you think Christian Keys will release those tapes that he has, or recordings that he has. He even stated that he was willing to undergo a polygraph. So many people are speculating on who this billionaire is, but I am not going to say that gentleman's name, nor even allude to it, because I wasn't there, and I'm not going to falsely allude to anything until something definitive comes out, if that is the case. And Melly says, I think if information leaked from his testimony, it could have warranted a criminal investigation. I think if information leaked from his testimony, it could have warranted a criminal investigation. A criminal investigation actually could still be in the making. A lot of people forget that the feds can watch you and collect evidence and forensic evidence for years and years until they become knocking and sweeping your computers, your thumb drives, all of your devices. And trust me, I am certain there are several devices. I wouldn't be surprised if there were secret recording devices in some of the rooms in some of those parties. Recording devices, trust me when I say, do not have to be large at all. They could be buttons on a shirt. And that is a fact. Melly says, remember, OJ testified in a civil trial and they held him responsible for deleting his wife and friend. Absolutely. And Melly says the Las Vegas judge used that as a motive to give OJ a harsh sentence. I believe that was to be expected. Criminal, many times, people may win, and that's not really a good word to use, because when there's loss of life or a change as a result of something despicable and deplorable happening in life, there's no real winner. But as far as guilt or innocence, a lot of times freedom is given depending upon how much money you have to ascertain people to represent you. But then when it comes to civil, that's where the compensatory damages and punitive damages come in. And that's where one could possibly walk away with a very handsome purse. And McCrae says, you're right. You're so right. They record everything and blackmail people. Let me star that, because that's one angle I did not look at. So, as it relates to Diddy, since he seems to be popular in the internet and the news, is it possible that there's blackmail involved with the allegations surrounding Diddy? And Melly says, thank you for that, McCrae. Melly says, I don't know if money could have saved Epstein and Weinstein. Melly, unfortunately, depending on who you are and those in your tight-knit circle, Money, as you said, may not even be an option. Because if a plea is put on the table for certain folks who would not last 24 hours, even in a holding cell, it is my opinion that they would delete themselves. Think about it. All of your life, you have the world at your fingertips. Anything you want is at your disposal. And that includes people. But suddenly there's a hiccup. And all of your dirty deeds catch up to you. And the possibility of what you've known to be freedom possibly will be taken away. Many people can't take that. And thank you, McCrae, for your super sticker. Thank you for that blessing. Thank you so much. And may it be returned abundantly. Melly says, I don't think anything will come of Trump's situation. I believe he will continue to walk free. Now that definitely is another topic. However, I have to agree with you in part, since the latest information is that there is a temporary stay and nothing will be done until after the holidays. So yes, Donald Trump appears to have a slight reprieve at this time. And from the pressers and rallies he's had, I don't see him letting up whatsoever. In fact, he's been mocking Biden. And from the latest polls, unless I'm inaccurate, he's garnering even more support despite some of the things he has said in reference to women and in reference to closing the borders, which I understand, but sometimes some people, their delivery and the point they're trying to get across comes out a bit harsh. But there are many, many people who would, beyond a shadow of a doubt, love, and that's not an embellishment, would love to see him back in office. Will it happen? Only time will tell. There are so many lawsuits and allegations that this man is facing, but he's fighting. His legal team is fighting. So we shall see. And Melly says, he's the new John Gotti. Well, I can say he appears at this time to definitely be Teflon Don. But, as I mentioned earlier, will that time dry up? Or could we all be in for a huge surprise come 2024? And keep in mind, we have to look at legislation, events, situations that are happening in your cities and towns. During election time or nearing election time is where newly elected officials or those seeking to retain their seats have to do something to get their constituents to believe in them and to vote them back in. So be on the lookout for possible mandates, laws in reference to the right to carry, laws in reference to your bodies, and laws that protect all people. Melly says, I say Teflon Don a lot. Absolutely. Many people do. And it might be a joke to some, but if you look at what we see, what we've seen, what we've read, the man is in his 70s and he has not let up yet. Now, some people may not like his delivery, as I mentioned. Some people may not agree with some of his policies. Some people may feel he's condescending, pugnacious, extremely arrogant. And he could be one or a combination of all. But as far as any issues with his cognitive state of mind, I don't see any at all. None. That could be debatable with some folks, but with me, I don't see any at all. And I do not know who else at this time that could match him. I just believe as time moves forward, there are going to be more and more smear campaigns, more and more quote unquote dirt that comes out on both the Republicans and Democrats. So to me, in my opinion, is nowhere near over. And in fact, I would venture to say it's truly just begun. So I am at my 1:41 mark. And I did not mean to go that long. I just wanted to briefly touch into, as I mentioned, this bombshell with actor Christian Keys, Mase, and Bishop T.D. Jakes. That if you followed him, he's out of Dallas, Texas. He's actually from West Virginia and is known for the Potter's House. And how he too appears to be another laden with scandal. Melly says he has his people taking pleas, pleading guilty, but Trump won't fold. Did you think that he would? The only way, in my opinion, that he would ever fold is if he were not in his right mind. Again, my opinion, absolutely not with his ego. And he hasn't changed from first coming on the scene. He's just an older version of himself. So that is my time. Thank you to everyone that joined in. Thank you to those that listened. Please feel free to leave any comments you may have in the comment section for those that may catch the replay. And again, I implore you to conduct your own independent research, cross-reference, because a lot of information, as we know, can be omitted, modified, or retracted. That is why I will not allude nor say who this billionaire could be, because I absolutely have no clue. And I must remain responsible and not put on a jacket to someone who may not be deserving of that. But it is obvious, in my opinion, from listening to the video and the facial expressions displayed by Christian Keys and the assertions that he is willing to take a polygraph, I believe something did absolutely happen to him. What? I'm not absolutely 100% sure. I can only go by his testimony, and to me, it's very plausible. So with that, everyone, enjoy the remainder of your night, morning, or afternoon, depending upon where you are on the globe. And again, thank you to all of my members. Thank you, McCrae, for your blessings. May they be returned abundantly. And thank you to everyone. Good night, and until next time, be safe, be well, and you know the rest. Be healthier.